Xavi really used Cadiz as a preparation game for PSG. As you will see in this video, he used a lot of tactics for that he wanted to try out and see if it's working, right? So there's not much tactics really to discuss against Cadiz other than the preparation, as you will see in this video. But before we get into all of that, please do subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know your thoughts down below. Let's get right into the video. In all honesty, there's not really much tactics to talk about in this game because it was so obvious that Xavi were preparing for PSG, right? He basically wanted to confirm the tactics that he wanted to try out because in build-up, Cadiz really wanted to press Barcelona centre-backs really aggressively. And Barcelona had, on the edge of the box, they had a pivot which drew out the central midfielders of Cadiz even more. But if you were watching the channel for a minute now, you know the long kicking that Ter Stegen now has. So the likes of Joao Felix and Fermin could easily just receive the ball in behind, and even Alonso got a lot of balls that he received, and that is how Barcelona looked to progress up the pitch. So Cadiz had to come out a lot more in order to press this more effectively because it didn't work for them at all. But because of this long kicking, Cadiz actually started defending in a 4-4-2 formation. And this is where Xavi started to realize that he can actually come out with his back three very early. And like I said, this is also encouraged by this PSG game that we have coming up, because now they kind of have to sit like on Barcelona's pivot because they want to actually stop the kicks out wide. This is where you free up the likes of Fermin Lopez that can come into the half space over here. And Sergio Roberto and Romeo was never really static. Roberto was more down to the half space. And then Ter Stegen still had no problem of finding Fermin in this space in behind, right? So this long kicking is of Ter Stegen. Xavi is really trying this, and this is going to be a pivotal point in the game against PSG, right? But the half space, I'm liking that, you know. This also can really draw the opposition to one space, and then that can find the likes of Robert Lewandowski and Vitor Roque in that area right there. And also something that really had me worried was a really old tactic that Xavi used to do. That is when you saw that the one of the pivots come out wide and then you have a single pivot. However, we did see that Andreas and Kubarsi was really the only back three, and you saw the return of the 2-3-5. Now I don't know if Xavi wants to try this against PSG, and if we do, we're gonna basically be dead. However, this 3-2-5 situation is probably gonna put Koundé here much more closer to Kylian Mbappe, you know, and that's I think that should be a good thing. This is obviously gonna be Ronald Araujo, so I don't know. Maybe Xavi is trying to look out, because you can definitely see, because of the defending, you can really honestly see that Mbappe is going to be up here and then you're going to have Dembele out wide, right? But I think the 2-3-5 situation, we might see that against PSG, and it kind of has me worried, right? Because you're going to have all the space now in this area here for the likes of Kylian Mbappe to exploit, but hopefully we're not going to see that against PSG. But we did see against Cadiz that Sergio Roberto came out wide, and then Hector Ford kind of joined them up front to have this 2-3-5 situation. The times when Barcelona was in the 3-2 situation and not the 2-3, you saw that Kubarsi was in the middle in this area right here. The reason why Xavi tried Kubarsi in that position was very, very important, and I think that's all because of his penetrative passes. You might see a lot of vertical passes like you saw against Cadiz, against PSG, especially with Rafinha. This is probably going to be Rafinha, right? So I think the key here, you're going to see a lot of balls straight to Lewandowski from Kubarsi. However, that might even be bait to PSG to think that Kubarsi is going to play in the middle, right? And I wouldn't put that past Xavi. Xavi is really interesting when it comes to tactics and the way he thinks, right? And I think, like I said, Kubarsi in the middle is something to be excited for. And I think the switching also comes from that, right? But later on, Xavi did put Kubarsi back to the left-hand side because he plays better that way. And also the way that he cuts inside, and then his posture is to play the ball this way, more through the center, right? So great tactics from Xavi. Not much really changed in the second half, but I think the whole system from the 2-3-5 formation comes from the fact that Xavi wants, in the build-up, you saw if you watch the videos, of course, you saw that Kunde got a lot of space in this area right here. But I think this is more to get PSG to defend more narrow, in order maybe to get the left wing alive as well. But also the 3-2-5 situation is also to get the space here against the 3-2, because PSG, I think, is very unlikely to press Barcelona with a front three, right? You saw that they're really scared of doing that. You saw Dembele was really way back here in order to defend. So I think there's going to be an emphasis from Xavi in this area right here in order to get PSG to get Barcelona up the pitch, right? So they cannot really stop the long kicking from Ter Stegen, into these areas. But Barcelona is going to look to build up from the back, from the side, right? But we're going to discuss more of that tomorrow in that PSG video. But in the end, a spectacular goal from João Felix got Barcelona over the line. There's the 3 points that we need to stay with PSG coming up, and also, more importantly, Real Madrid at the end of this week, on this weekend, I think, Saturday or Sunday. But guys, as always, please do subscribe to the channel. I know there wasn't really much tactics to discuss here. It was mainly a preparation for the PSG game. Let me know, what do you think down below? What did you see in the Cadiz game? And put it in the comment section. As always, subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.